Clovis. Bye.
I am James ALOFS. I left the big city to build an off-grid homestead on 40 acres of Canadian wilderness. This area of Ontario has giant ridgelines, deep valleys, and pure rivers. Black bears, gray wolves, mountain lions, moose, and many forest spirits share the land. I started in November 2023. Starting with a modest 12 by 16 foot guest cabin, my goal is to build such a glorious homestead that I attract a magnificent wife, have several military-grade babies, and raise our Swiss mountain dog, Clovis. Welcome to Wild Homestead. Hey, it stopped raining. Yes. King Clovis. King Clovis. Ladies and gents, we're going for a mixed grill this evening. Many people are familiar with surf and turf, and this I present to you is pig and turf. All the major food groups are represented right here. Everything you need for biological survival as a person in the woods. Go. Folks, thanks so much for everybody's feedback on recos on what to do to fill in the driveway. I was originally thinking sand, and of course, like a lot of people pointed out, you can just get sand from your own property. So at first I was thinking of just kind of making a little quarry, like a mini quarry right on the property. I then talked to my two neighbors who helped me build this parking pad here, which is at the front of the property near the road. And what they really suggested was to do something called 2-inch minus. So this is your standard gravel here, right? It's kind of about this size. So this is what the driveway is made of on the top layer, but the bottom layer is made out of this stuff, which is called 2-inch minus. You see how it's much bigger? So both my neighbors recommended that I use 2-inch minus to fill in the gaps. They said this is going to be much better than sand. And the great thing about 2-inch minus is that it's much cheaper. It's about 30% cheaper than the grade A. And it won't get stuck in logs. This is also good because if I do decide to gravel the entire driveway back one day, this will be the base for the driveway anyway. So if we go through and we take all the organic topsoil off of the sand,
this is what we'd be putting down, and this will be filling in the divots. It just makes a lot of sense. That's crazy. Whoa! Holy cow. Ten and a half. This could be close, ladies and gents. The log is a good log. This was, I believe, 10-inch breast side diameter, so it should be good, but there's a squiggle in the log here. Oh boy, that's gonna be close. Be very close. Where's that tasty? Where's that tasty, buddy? Where's that tasty? Oh yeah. You know, some people are like, holy cow, man, do you spend $900 a week on steak? But no, the secret, my favorite steak, the most affordable steak, is the chuck blade steak. Almost always are the exact same price as ground beef, which is the cheapest, you know, beef you can buy. Because chuck blade steaks, how does one describe this? Basically, unlike a ribeye or a New York strip, where the fat is like really kind of evenly distributed throughout the steak, so each like kind of mouthful has got a very nice balance of like muscle tissue to fat. The chuck blade steak, as well as chuck blade roast, it's got big giant veins of fat. So you'll be eating some like pure muscle, and then all of a sudden you'll get an entire mouthful of just pure fat. And I guess a lot of people don't like that. I don't mind that at all. I think it's delicious. But if you can find a butcher that does chuck blade steaks, either in grass-fed or grain-fed, it's gonna be the same price as the ground. That is a major life hack for me. Aha! That is a fat boy! Yes! Incroyable! C'est fantastique! Zut alors! So this butt top, the butt is 10.5 inches wide. So that means to line everything up the log on the same plane, we want to set this to half of 10.5, which would be 5.25. There. That's 5.25. So then we're going to see where's the blade lining up on the log. It's a little bit high. So we want to raise that. Let's see what that looks like. Ooh, that's nice. What that means now, the center of the top and the center of the butt are now on the same plane. So when we're cutting, say, 1 inch off the top, that's the same amount of material that we are cutting away from the core of the log, if that makes sense. Sweet! This is like Minecraft, guys. It's like Minecraft. Holy Hades, everyone. It's darker than Mordor out here. All of a sudden, it looks like we're gonna get some massive thunderstorms. We better batten down the hatch there, Clovis. Oh, hello. Nope. No, Clovis. Nope. Guys, before we continue the little history stories next week, I'm going to give you one more story about my time in China. When I was in China, my main job there was as a co-host of a nationally broadcast talk show called A Bright World. And essentially, it was like The View, if you're familiar with that ABC show in the United States, except instead of with women, it was with men. So there were 10 guys, all foreigners, non-Chinese, who represented a different country, right? I represented Canada. There was a Russian guy, an American guy, a British guy, a German guy, etc. All speaking Chinese, and we would discuss all different kind of pop culture topics, music, romance and dating, family, cultural differences, etc. And every episode, we would have a different Chinese celebrity come on and discuss with us. Favorite episode that we ever did. Also, my most nerve-wracking was when we had the #1 TV host in all of China. Think like Ryan Seacrest or Dick Clark times 10. This guy, the variety show that he hosted every day on national television in China was the #1 rated television show in the whole country, right? In a country of 1.4 billion people. So the producers wanted to have a public speaking contest, right? So they selected the Russian co-host, the guy named David, and myself to basically tell a 2-minute, little speech motivational story. And then also have this guy He Jiao also tell a 2-minute story, and then have people vote online to say, okay, who told the best story? And shockingly to me, I actually won in the online voting. The story I told, which I'll show you next, is a story about a guy who's very famous and very few people know. He's actually from Canada, but not only Canada, he's from Northern Ontario, where I am right now. So here's the story that I told on the show. Whoa, look at this. The upper branches on this giant double spruce literally clears right almost to the front. We're sitting directly beneath this. There's directly beneath. It's almost right to those branches will intercept so much snow. Hey, buddy. How you doing? Sit. Oh. Good boy. King Clovis. The werewolf. Is that too big? I don't know. I think that gives good sun coverage and, horizontal snow drift coverage. This is 4 feet. I was just trying out with a 3-footer, and the 3-footer just looked a little short. This has got, plenty of headspace here, but this means that we'll not be able to pull the tractor into here with this rafter. It's a 4-foot rafter. With the 3-foot rafter, we can pull the tractor in here. I've just done some calculations. I think if we do them at 42 inches instead of 48, we should have a healthy margin to fit the tractor, at least in the summertime. in the shed just in case. Clovis, what are you doing there, buddy? It's your lucky day because we ran out of your dog food. So we're making you some organic hot Italian sausages. Look at that. Pork, water, spices, sea salt, garlic. That's all a sausage needs, ladies and gentlemen. No weirdness. Sweet mother of all that is good. It's the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. Good boy. Okay. It's gonna be hot. Let it cool down, buddy. Good morning, sleepy man, sleepy King Clovis. Hey, keep it down, buddy. Holy cow. Dudes, oh my goodness, you won't believe what happened. So last night, the gravel, the aggregate company delivery truck came by. He called me. I was back here working on the roof of the ATV garage. He's like, the load's here. He's delivered like probably 7 or 8 times. I'm like, dude, just put it in the regular spot. Thank you so much. I just went out to check it. And they delivered the wrong gravel. They delivered grade A, which is not good because we wanted the 2-inch minus, right? Because the 2-inch minus is it's chunkier. So that's what you build the base of a driveway with. And for our, usage of just filling in these holes, it's perfect because it's cheap and it's not going to get caught in logs, right? That we're skidding over top. So I just called the aggregate company. I was like, dude, you sent me the wrong gravel. And he was very apologetic. So he offered to send me a load of 2-inch minus for free and charge me what 2-inch minus costs for the grade A, because grade A is about 25 or 30% more expensive. Okay, folks, really wanted to get that done next before finishing the road, because wanted to get this measured, make sure what the final dimensions are before ordering the steel. So this weekend we can order the steel for this guy, and I really like it. Gives us about 2.5 feet of vertical overhang, and it's also high enough where we can get the tractor in there comfortably. I think there'll be about like 6 to 8 inches of clearance. It just gives us optionality there, but I think she's looking pretty good. But now we need to cook a steak, and we need to get out the werewolf. Ah, yes. Yes. Of course, I locked it. From the non-existent thieves in the forest. Okay, so 2 jerry cans took us from almost empty, to full. Well, that's good to know. So it takes about 40 liters then. Tractors, baby! Whoa. Okay, so people will be suggesting run it at half throttle. You should be able to get max power out of your hydraulics, and you're gonna save a lot on fuel. So let's do that. This could be the biggest quad clump of roots in the entire road, man. This will be a quagmire to try to get this thing untangled, but let's. Uh-oh, that's not good. Fluid just started spraying all over the place down here. What the heck is that, man? What is that from? Let's try the parking pad. It's right over here, so let's get onto the gravel, even surface, and see what's... Dude, where's that coming from? I can't see. Oh no, the bucket is dead. Look at all this, man. Look at all this fluid. That's got to be the hydraulic fluid. Is this thing broken or is it just, oh, it's loose. Dude, how did that happen? It's loose. The bucket is dead. I could put it down, but I couldn't change the tilt on it. So the Kubota dealer said, you know, it's pretty easy to refuel with the hydraulic fluid yourself. He said if it was just loose, but he said if there is a problem where something's broken, they can send somebody out to repair it. Just got to get some hydraulic fluid, which is okay because I'm coming up on 10 hours of operation on this bad boy. And at 10 hours, we got to grease gun all of the joints. So like you see here, there's a grease joint. Grease nipple, if you will, I believe is the technical term. You see like there, boom. So, looks like oh man, I was so looking forward to finishing it. Look, we literally have this much to go. And the gravel, we got our grade A out there, and then the guys are ready with the 2-inch minus to follow. Oh boy. You know, while we're out here at the parking pad, I might just show you guys the other attachments. So this is attachment. So we got the brush grapple. We got the backhoe. That's 1, 2. Attachment number 3 is forklifts. These things are just great. This is going to be so good for loading things quickly on and off the sawmill, as well as into our, you know, drying barn for all the lumber, and, you know, even putting like logs on top of, you know, stacking up on walls. I think this is like a 78-inch wide bucket, just your standard. I was told to not get the teeth thing on the bottom because that makes grading and doing all the kind of work we're going to be doing back there, you know, that makes that work very difficult with that kind of, those kind of teeth on there. And la pièce de résistance, the sweetest attachment of all, maybe even better than the backhoe, is the Light Forestry mulcher. Check that out. So this thing's powered by a PTO. So it's not powered by hydraulics like the backhoe. This thing connects into the PTO drive on the back of the tractor, and it spins this drum on the front. You can see here, and there's all these like metal, I think they're metal carbide teeth, and they're spinning super fast, and they basically liquidate, they literally turn any woody material into chips. So trees up to 6 inches in diameter, which is crazy. So it's like the most efficient way to clear land and like woody debris that you can possibly have. You just literally have it full spin and are backing up and just instantly mulching whatever's in your way. Rest well, werewolf. We will get you back full of the hydraulic fluids that you require and back into the field where you belong. World's smallest wrench. It's not an easy job. Okay, that's torqued pretty good. I also don't want to overdo it. I know that sometimes you don't want to overdo these things. Is it broken? Is that? This one seems fine. Maybe having a tractor isn't quite as cool as having a wife, because I don't think wives don't have hydraulic fluid. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Plenty of overhang. I think there's plenty of overhang there. For sure. So guys, the key change that I'm making here, everything is pretty much the same, is that I'm bringing the bathroom addition from the 4 and below up to number 2. So now that we're just waiting for the steel to come in for the ATV garage, I want to go into the bathroom addition. So we're going to be using something that's not uncommon here in Central Ontario to get our water. It's not a drilled well. I think it's going to be very interesting. And, you know, just realizing plumbing, doing the septic field. Do you remember the forestry attachment, the forestry mulcher that I showed you out at the road after the tractor broke down? All of this stuff you see here behind you, we're going to come through and just chip this all. So fingers crossed the forestry mulcher performs as advertised. But I just realized, like, it's probably going to be the most complicated thing I've done so far, other than installing the wood stove to wet certification standards, is doing the plumbing on this. My sincere apologies that the werewolf is injured and needs to be rehabilitated with more hydraulic fluid, ladies and gentlemen, but we'll get right back into it next week. Strength and honor to you all. May the gods bless you, both the old gods and the new. And remember, folks, if your Tinder date starts leaking hydraulic fluid all over the restaurant table, newsflash, you're on a date with a tractor. Call for the maitre d' and scream at the top of your lungs the following 9 words and 13 syllables. Ooga, booga.